What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. We got Larry Legend in the building, family. The one and only. But no, with no further ado, family, let's embrace this legendary individual with legendary moments. And also, as I get my thoughts off, commentary and perspective, and ask you guys your thoughts as we have amazing conversation and create dialogue down in the comments down below. So with no further ado, family, let's go.
Larry Bird was one of the best players to ever touch a basketball, and together with Magic Johnson, the biggest NBA star of the 80s. What made him so successful considering he was quite unathletic? And how would he fare in today's NBA? Did he win just because his teams were loaded? And where does he stand among the best?
Now, comment down below, family. Do you believe that Larry Bird team was always loaded or was loaded? I don't believe so, because when Larry Bird came into the Celtics franchise, it wasn't booming the way it was booming when he came in, especially as a rookie, and totally changed the whole and turned the whole franchise of the Celtics team around. So I don't feel like he had a loaded team. But comment down below. I'm curious to see you guys' perspective.
Of all time. Watch the rest of the video to find out. A hick from French Lick. Bird was born into a poor family in French Lick, Indiana, a town of 2,000 inhabitants. Larry grew up a shy, introverted kid who didn't talk much, and he did most of his talking on the basketball court. He grew up to 6'9" and played at small forward. But with his understanding of basketball, he could play whatever position he wanted. Larry finished his high school career as the best scorer in school's history, and he could choose where he wanted to go.
Legendary. And you gotta love Larry Bird because he talked only when needed to be talked. You know how as a kid sometimes you just be talking just to be talking, and your parents be like, "Be quiet." You know what I'm saying? If you ain't talking for the purpose, then don't talk at all. If you ain't saying nothing that makes sense, then don't say nothing at all. You feel what I'm saying? Just like they would say, if it ain't nice, then don't say it at all, right? I feel like Larry Bird carries that type of charisma, let alone character. Like, look, I'm going to speak only when I need to speak, and when I speak, it's going to move mountains. You know what I'm saying? Those introverted individuals, do not underestimate.
College. He started playing for Bobby Knight at Indiana University, but didn't like the spotlight and being around so many people. He then settled at Indiana State University, where the pressure was much less than with the Hoosiers. Larry averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists in college.
Dang. But you got to give it to him. He genuinely, authentically been himself through the whole process. That's what makes him so legendary, right? Because at the end of the day, he didn't want to be in the spotlight. He didn't want to be at a big university. So he degraded or downgraded to a small town university and still made himself out of nothing. So comment down below, family. I'm curious. Do you believe that if Larry Bird stayed at that bigger university, would it have made a difference in regards of his success, with him being successful or just as successful when he was at the smaller university because he didn't want to be in the limelight? Comment down below. I believe Larry Bird would have been successful either college he went to, because at the end of the day, his skills and his work ethic speak for itself.
The Sycamores were invincible in Bird's senior year and became the #1 team in the country with a 33-win streak. Their only loss came in the 1979 NCAA Finals, where they played against Michigan State, led by senior guard
I remember this with Magic Johnson, senior guard Magic Johnson, man. And Bird still held on to this day, but he got him back on national televised TV and the National Basketball League, obviously, or the National Basketball Association, which is the NBA, obviously. But he got him basically at the top of the top tier of basketball A1 players. You know what I'm saying? Can't get no greater than that. So I'd rather take the win over being at the top tier, at the top of my game with the top of the league individuals around the world versus a little college. Comment down below, family, your thoughts. Would you have took it personal? Well, you would have took it some personal because you want to be successful. You want to be great at everything you do like Larry Bird. But I'm asking you guys your perspective. If you were in Larry Bird position, would you take it personal just as he did with college? Losing against Magic Johnson, would you take it personal in college or would you take it more personal in the NBA? Well, now we all know that Larry Bird is going to take everything personal because And we all know if a person want to be great, they're going to take every loss personal, and just like they're going to take every win personal because they want to keep striving to be great. I get that. But my question is, if you had to choose, would you take the loss of being in a college or the loss of being in the NBA? I would personally rather take that L if I had to choose, take that loss versus Magic Johnson in college and kill him in the NBA.
Johnson. Despite 19 points from Bird, Magic and his teammates celebrated the title in what was the most watched college basketball game in history at the time. Bird was named the Collegiate Player of the Year, leaving Indiana State as the 5th-ranked NCAA scorer of all time. He was already drafted, as the Boston Celtics selected him in the NBA draft in 1978, hoping that Bird, who qualified for the NBA as a junior, would skip his senior year. He opted to stay in Indiana. And when he finally arrived in Boston, the Celtics looked nothing like their championship selves, with consecutive losses.
That's what I'm saying. Look, nothing like their championship selves. So the team could not have been loaded because the team already sucked before he came to the team and brought his value as a valuable player as he is for the team to be magnificent and turn everything around. And that takes a lot of leadership as well, introverted or not. Because your work ethic and your character will speak for itself. Your character will keep you. It don't matter how loud you speak. Because if you extroverted and you're a loud person, speaking person, if your words don't carry over to your actions, what does it matter of a man? You know what I'm saying?
Seasons. Bird then single-handedly caused the biggest turnaround ever seen in the NBA at the time. Boston improved their record from the season before by 32 wins and finished with 61 wins and 21 losses. Although his arch-rival Magic Johnson had an impressive season and won the title with the Lakers, Bird was named the Rookie of the Year with the average of 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. He also made the All-Star team and first-team All-NBA.
Yes, sir.
And even finished 4th in the MVP voting and proved he could
voting.
transform a mediocre team into a great one all by himself. A new green dynasty. After Bird's rookie year, the Celtics had a busy offseason. Legendary Red Auerbach worked his magic and brought 2 new faces.
Now, I believe this is where he was doing the training lessons in regards of his shot, the form of his shot, you know, his shooting, the basketball.
Boston that would form one of the biggest dynasties in NBA history. Auerbach robbed Golden State by sending them the 1st and 13th pick in the 1980 draft in exchange for center Robert Parrish and the 3rd pick, which became Kevin McHale. Along with the newly formed Big Three, the Celtics also had an all-star point guard, Nate "Tiny" Archibald, young and athletic forward Cedric Maxwell, and a few well-integrated role players that made the team complete. The head of the snake was, of course, Larry Bird, who was 2nd in MVP voting, en route to a league-leading 62.
I feel like they had a well-rounded roster. You know, they had some good players. They had some bigs. They had some bigs. They had some length to get the boards. Larry Bird has some length, obviously, himself. And then, you know, you fill in the pieces with maybe the smaller guys, but they had some length to basically rebound and be very versatile on the court, I feel like, you know.
Record.
Picking
The
up Parrish and
Celtics
stuff.
avenged the loss to the Sixers from the previous year, and after a tough 7-game series in the Eastern Finals, they were in the NBA Finals once again. There they would be met by the Houston Rockets, led by prime Moses Malone, who was arguably the best center in the league at the time.
Crying Moses Malone, man. Crying Moses Malone. Ha! You gotta
Malone
peep that.
averaged 23 and 16 in the series,
16.
but the Celtics were too good of a team and would win the title with 4 games to 2. Bird averaged
You see? Moses was getting out-rebounded. Look at Kevin McHale over there out-rebounding. They all stick it together, drop it to the basket when needed to and when necessary. That's how we work together as a team.
averaged 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists for the series. But the finals MVP went to Cedric Maxwell, who led the Celtics in scoring with 18 points per game. And when everybody already saw the new green dynasty, 2 bad years ensued. Despite Bird's all-around excellence and McHale's improvement, they once again were the #1 seed in the East. Bird was the All-Star Game MVP, but Philadelphia retaliated for a close defeat in the Eastern Finals. And this time, they won in 7 games. The year after, the Celtics regressed even more, finishing as a 3rd seed and getting swept in the 2nd round by the Milwaukee Bucks. After that,
It's a major setback for a major comeback, man. I don't believe they ever regressed, if you want me to be honest.
Coach Bill Fitch resigned, and was replaced by Casey Jones, who
Yes,
won
sir.
8 titles in the Bill Russell era as a player. The change bore fruit. The team was refreshed with the young shooter Danny Ainge and veteran point guard Dennis Johnson, and played the best basketball in the NBA, finishing with a 62-20 record. After 3 years of coming in second, Larry Bird finally won the regular season MVP with 24.2 points, 10.1 rebounds.
He's
and
still averaging close to what he was when he was in college. The 30 point, correct me if I'm wrong, the 30.2 points per game, something like that. And he's 24.2. But obviously his rebounds
0.6
went
assists
up, and
on
then his
average.
assists went up, obviously.
The Celtics steamrolled to the finals, where a known foe awaited. It was, of course, Magic and the Lakers. The title was decided in Game 7, where Larry Bird led the Celtics to their 15th NBA title. Bird was named the Finals MVP, and he finally had his revenge over Magic,
Yes,
who
sir.
defeated him in the NCAA Finals of 1979. The following season, the Celtics were even better in the regular season. Bird repeated as MVP, and McHale repeated as the Sixth Man of the Year. They got to the finals again, with the same opponent. After the Celtics won Game 1, 140.
I got a quick question. I know this a little bit off topic, family, but it's just pondering in my mind. And I feel like, you know, you guys are like family and we always have amazing conversations. Do you feel like Kevin McHale is a good coach versus being a basketball player? I feel like Kevin McHale, as I learned about him, I feel like he's a good basketball player versus being a better coach. I feel like he's a better ball player in his time than being a coach. Obviously, he's not coaching no more. I believe he's retired. I see him do a lot of hosting, you know, being more of like a analyst, basketball analyst or reporter in the games. I see him here and there, you know, speaking and taking coverage on national TV with the basketball teams here and there. But I feel like he just was a better overall player than a coach. Comment down below. I'm curious to see you guys' perspective as I'm thinking about it, honestly.
114. In a game that was dubbed the Memorial Day Massacre, it seemed like the Celtics were going to dominate the Lakers and repeat as champions. However, the Lakers had other plans, and especially Kareem was determined to defeat the Celtics. Kareem averaged 25.7 points, 9 rebounds, and 5.2 assists in 6 games.
Dang, and the crazy part is, rebounds per game, assists per game, Larry Bird got way more, and points per game, if you want to be technical. Obviously, they say he had like 24, but let's be real. Bird had more than that per game, I feel like. But still, this man, this tall, this type of caliber, obviously they played different positions, but still, the way he was so furious at Larry Bird, you would have thought he dominated the way he wanted to dominate.
On 60% shooting. And the Lakers have finally won the NBA Finals against the Celtics for the first time in 9 tries. 1986,
9 tries.
the greatest Celtics team ever and the pinnacle of Bird's career. After the finals loss, Auerbach made another clever move.
And rest in peace to Bill Walton again, man. Legendary individual, man. I just seen his smile right there. His smile is always refreshing. He's classic, cool individual. Always crack back and give jokes, and you could tell he loved his team, loved Larry Bird, and just a great individual, man.
He traded Cedric Maxwell to the Clippers for Bill Walton, once one of the most talented centers in the league, who accepted the role of a sixth man on the Celtics, while Kevin McHale moved to the starting lineup. The Celtics won 50 out of 51 home games that year, which is a record that still stands and likely will never be broken. Larry Bird experienced the absolute peak of his game and basketball brilliance in 85-86. He deservedly won another MVP and became the only player other than Wilt and Bill Russell to win the award in 3 straight seasons. The 85-86 season, Bird
3 straight seasons, bro.
several games that proved the endless basketball genius of Larry Bird, and most notable is the left-handed game. Before the game against
Yeah.
Portland, Bird surprised his
He challenged himself and to play left-handed majority of the game, and then went his right a little bit, to keep the stretch and keep the lead,
teammates and journalists by saying that he would shoot the whole game with his left hand because he wanted to motivate himself for
I
a
told
relatively
you.
meaningless regular season game. How much did he score? Just 47 points.
Just 47 points. You see how casually he said that? Just 47 points. Oh, yeah, with his left hand, just 47 points. Oh, that's Larry Bird. It's just normal.
14 rebounds, 11 assists
14
with a
rebounds,
game-winning
11
shot,
assists.
and 22 points scored with his left hand out of sheer boredom and fun.
Sheer boredom.
Try Cascade.
Now, you got to tell me that ain't embarrassing to the other teams. Like, this man is sitting here like, oh, let me challenge myself because, look, y'all giving me bored. I'm tired. Let me try to challenge myself real quick to stay busy, to stay enthusiastic, or stay enthusiastic, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Classic Larry Bird, man. Classic Larry Bird.
Fun. And those are the reasons why he was called Larry Legend. Apart from that, he also scored a career-high 60 points on the Atlanta Hawks earlier in the season. Almost everything he put up toward the basket went in. And he got into such a zone that the Hawks bench jumped off their chairs and cheered.
Legendary moment, man. Can't never forget it. Go down in history. When your opponents is over here shocked and bamboozled by your performance and you're obviously on the opposition team, man, after that, everybody collectively coming together. It ain't even a game no more. It's a showdown. It's a showdown, one-man performance for Larry Legend, man. Larry Legend Bird, bro. Yes,
which
sir.
they received hefty penalties from the Hawks coach, Mike Fratello. Throughout the game, the commentator noted that what he was watching was the biggest shooting exhibition in basketball history. And at the time, it truly was. The Celtics won 67 games in the regular season and lost just one game in the playoffs on their way to the finals. There, they would be greeted by the Twin Towers of Houston, Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon, who defeated the Lakers in the West Finals. But nobody could touch the Celtics that season, who were one of the most talented teams ever assembled. Bird was 2 rebounds and 3 assists shy of averaging a triple-double in the finals, and he deservedly won his second Finals MVP. Final years, injuries, and the Dream Team. In 1987, the Celtics had a very difficult season. Their number 2 pick, Len Bias, tragically passed away after the draft, and they suffered many injuries during the season and the playoffs. But Larry Bird was too good, and they still advanced to the finals after 2 7-game series against the Bucks and the Bad Boy Pistons, where Bird made one of the most legendary plays and stole the inbounds pass from Isaiah Thomas.
Amazing.
That won a crucial Game 5 for the Celtics. And in the finals again, it was the Lakers for the 3rd time in 4 years. Because LA was much more rested coming to the finals, the Celtics did not have enough gas in the tank to stop the fast-paced showtime. Bird delivered another 24, 10, and 5 for the series, but it wasn't good enough, and Magic got the best of him once again. Next year, Bird
I don't think the Magic got the best of him. I think it's just more like iron sharpened iron. 2 great individuals.
maybe one of the best statistical years of his career. He averaged 30 points on 50, 40, and 90 shooting, a feat he achieved the previous year as well, proving that he's the best shooter who ever played at the time.
Of
The
course.
Celtics reached the conference
Best shooter down in history, bro. What are you talking about? I don't think no one else can say anything. Cause all I better hear is crickets. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Best shooter down in history, bro.
finals, but it would be their last hurrah as the Pistons finally got over the hump and managed to beat them. In the offseason, Bird sustained a severe back injury from chopping wood back home in Indiana. He was one of the best basketball players in the world who had millions of dollars, but he was still the hick from French Lick, who chopped his own wood when he needed to, and I
Very
respect
humble.
him even more for that. The back injury and surgery on both Achilles tendons caused him to miss almost the entire 88-89 season. However, even debilitated, Bird
And that reminds me of that moment where Reggie Miller recalled that Bird would play basketball every single day and look like an Eskimo with all the ice around him, right? And you seeing all the ice. You seeing the ice on his legs right here.
to miss
You
almost
know,
the entire
And
88-89
the bandage
season.
and the icing and the saran wrapping and look.
Or even
right?
debilitated, Bird was better than most players in the league, and
Better
despite
than
needing to
most.
stretch for more than 2 hours to be able to run, he was still very productive. He was named an All-Star each of the last 3 seasons, along with some memorable performances, like a game in the 1991 playoffs where he suffered a concussion, but then pulled a Willis Reed and came back to the game, scored 17 points in the second half, and won the series for the Celtics. Unfortunately, the toll on his body was getting too much to bear, and he ended his career in 1992, when he finally became teammates with his good friend Magic Johnson on the Dream Team. Bird flew off
I love how they went out with a bang, though.
sunset with the gold in Barcelona, retiring as the best small forward and the best shooter to ever play. Legacy. Trash-talking god, top 10 player ever. One of the most famous Larry Bird trash-talking stories is
course.
from the 1986 three-point shooting contest when the
I think I know where he's going
walked
with this.
into the locker room and asked all the other participants who's coming in second after him. Of course, he went,
Of course, my man said, who coming in second after me? Because I'm in first place. And at the end of the day, I'm going to chop these threes and win this 3-point contest. And I'm going to help be do my philanthropy by contributing to society with the fundraising, let alone cut the check. You know what I'm saying? Cut the check. Yes, indeed.
swished near every three-pointer and won, all without taking his jacket off.
All without
Bird
taking
would
his
win the
warm-up.
three-point shooting competition the next 2 years as well. And before Reggie Miller came along, there was no argument who's the best shooter ever. On the 26th of December, 1990, Indiana's Chuck the Rifleman Person said he's going bird hunting before the Celtics game. Bird replied that he'd got a Christmas present for him. And while Chuck was on the bench, Bird got the ball in the corner just in front of the Pacers bench. He hit the jump shot, turned to Chuck, and said, "Merry effing Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
That's who Larry Bird was
man.
and how he talked. He was the ultimate competitor, and he had all the skills in the world to back it up. He'd tell players where he would get the ball,
Of
what he was going
course.
to do,
And what he-
and do
and
it.
then make
There was
it.
nothing they could do to stop him.
Legendary.
He accused the opposing team of putting a white guy to guard him.
That takes hella confidence, man. Because you didn't put pressure. That's like you putting pressure on your own self to tell the opponent what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and when it's going to be done. And then execute every single time, bro. Well done. Well, can't get more legendary
He
than
felt that
man.
was disrespectful. And if you watch Space Jam, you know that Larry isn't white. He's clear. Bird would drink half the bar under the table. Sometimes he'd fight people in the bar as well, and then go to the game.
I think he had one fighting incident. He making it like he's a fighter. You know, he had that one incident, that scuffle at the bar. You know, men being men. And that's what it is, man. He handled his business.
Next day and dominate as if nothing happened.
Yeah, I know he hurt his hand a lot, but he still came out. And the reporter who reported it or did the papers and the narrative got out, I know Larry was disappointed because he knew the individual. I can understand that because I would at least want you to consult me about the incident that I had, an unfortunate situation that ended up hurting my arm that could affect not just me, but my team, which is bigger than me. But I still executed, and you could at least consult me about it before you just came out with this paper. You know what I'm saying?
Was a unique player, and there was nobody like him. At first glance, his moves look almost clumsy, far from physically dominant or athletic. He rarely
Clumsy. The way Bird was breaking ankles, I wouldn't say clumsy. I'd just say he gave you that slow motion type of execution.
His vertical was average at best, and he never played exceptionally fast. From the neck down, in
Yep.
basketball terms, he was nothing special. From the neck up until the end of his fingertips, he was pure genius. There's no doubt that he would be a great player in today's era, where we can
Of
see players
course.
like Doncic and Jokic dominate the
course.
game without great physical talent. Bird was one of the top 10 players who ever played, and one of the best pure shooters ever. He was the best player in the NBA for almost an entire decade, despite the
still is.
brilliance from Magic and the athleticism of Michael Jordan. And like Magic Johnson said, there will never be another Larry Bird.
Yes, it won't be, indeed. As much as they try to claim a reincarnation with Luka Doncic 2.0 and all this mess. But speaks for itself, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below any other Larry Bird reaction videos you guys would love to see, or basketball reaction videos, please. That will help me most definitely. Let the love supersede the hate. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. And until next time, family, like I always say, peace.